Some people living on Granby Street in Norfolk say customers at one business are keeping them up at all hours of the night.
They also say Culture Lounge and Restaurant is bringing crime to the area. Now city leaders are stepping in. Allie Weatherton talked to people living near that nightclub.
I love living here. It's a fabulous location. There's so much going on, but I just couldn't put up with the nightlife.
Nancy Trammell says that nightlife coming from Cultural Lounge and Restaurant, which sits at the corner of Granby and Addison Streets in the Neon District.
We were against them when they moved in, but since they moved in, there's always people parking down Wilson and fights and carrying on, yelling and screaming at all hours, but especially at like 1:30 in the morning to 2 o'clock. And then the gunfire, I don't do gunfire.
Trammell says after years of putting up with the problems, she decided to move from her condo that she owned for the past 6 years.
I just couldn't put up with it anymore. I didn't feel like living with all the noise and stuff. As I said, I moved in here. This is where I was going to retire, but I cannot put up with that noise. That's just not acceptable.
Now, Norfolk City Council members plan to discuss revoking Cultural Lounge and Restaurant's conditional use permit at tomorrow night's meeting.
I agree with that concept because, in my opinion, if you're a restaurant and you're applying for a conditional use permit to stay open till 2, that's not a restaurant, that's a club.
In Norfolk, Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.
Well, 13 News Now reached out to the owner of Culture Lounge and Restaurant.
And he says he doesn't have a comment.